So next thing is, what do I teach? We know we want to teach a curriculum. We get brand new whiteboards. How much do I teach them? There's a whole lot of things in the whiteboard curriculum. You have a whiteboard that's walked on the map for the first time. I guarantee you, basic hands #1 can be overwhelming. All right, it can be overwhelming. Okay, this is the way it's always taught. Hello, right leg back fighting position with key up. Stop. Double punch. Ready. Key up on the second punch. Right? That's what we do, right? Wrong. I have no idea what a fighting stance is. Okay, you just said something I have no idea what it is, so you have to understand. You've got to read your class and structure how you drill these things. So if I have like 5 new white belts, and I got blue belts, red belts, black belts, I'm not going to drill. Okay, understand the difference between cadence and at your own pace. You see some of them do this sometimes. What's cadence? Hana, two, set. Right, that's cadence. We all do it together, right? Okay, that's drill sergeant, right? And that's fine when there's a lot of experienced people on the mat. But if there's a wide range of people that can do things, that have to do things at different speeds, or maybe you need to learn it, maybe it's better to say go at your own pace. The black belts and the both hands can fly at their own speed, and you can use that opportunity to walk down the mat to the white belts and say, this is what you do. This is a fighting stance, and you teach them what to do. Okay? Walking stance, we can go into details, as Brad said in the seminar, but it's important you use that window, everybody's going at their own pace, to teach them what they need to know the basics. How to make a fist. What's a proper fist? You see this, you see this, you see this, you see this, you see all those things. I see them above white belt. Okay, so just learning proper stance, what's a key up, yell, exhale, what's a proper fist, what's a proper punch, how to turn, drop the knee. There's a lot of overwhelming things there that if you're not careful, you can get overwhelmed when you're just giving them too many instructions on just basic hand #1. So limit the amount of curriculum you give new white belts to what they can absorb and learn, and limit how much you tell them, because you tell them little 2 or 3 things, they'll forget it. So you just can't teach them how to do the technique like a black belt can do it day 1. They won't get it. All right. So you just need to give them enough that they can learn and absorb, enough that they can drill safely and properly. Next thing is you want them also doing it at their own speed, because they're out of shape. Their muscles are not conditioned, snapping punches, snapping kicks, so they can injure themselves really easily. Because the last thing we want to do is to frustrate them too much, if they don't understand, they can't remember, and or injure them because we have to go too fast, too hard, so it's very, very important. Brad put together this really excellent handout. It's got a lot of really useful stuff here. I'm not going to go through all this. I think it's very important that you do understand why, what you do, and why you do the first day. It's only a couple of things, because it's going to be more than they can remember and absorb. Then we gradually build on it as they get a little experience and as they've been here for a period of time. And then when we get to higher ranks, obviously we can teach them more things. But you must constantly think about this. Also want to emphasize there's a number of things here that you must do it. All right? And it's for safety, and it starts with sticking to the curriculum, but it's also common sense. We just do not want to have white belts doing front rows and free falls and all sorts of things that their bodies are not ready for, because they haven't learned what a fighting stance is and how to make a fist yet. So we have to empty our own cups as instructors and do the things that seem to be boring, okay, because we know them so well. But those are the most important things for them. Okay. I'm just going to end with saying one more thing. Yes, ma'am.
Just about the things to avoid.
Yes, ma'am.
I have the opposite problem in my class a lot, which I get red belts that don't know how to do a front fall.
Yes, ma'am.
So, do we start introducing the sequence? If you do know the sequences, do we start introducing the sequences that these appropriate belts?
Well, first of all, you need to ask yourself, instructor, do I know how to properly teach a front fall? Do I know how to break it down in all the steps to teach a front fall? Because if you don't, then you can't teach first of all. Secondly, rolling, falling, sparring, those are things that Savage personally decides whether you can teach them. Okay, so you need to get his experience to teach people to do it. I would say this, if you do have that experience and capability to go ahead, you need to be also careful that you don't overdo it and teach them too much. And this leads into what I was going to say and end it here. I personally got to the point where I apply something in my class that really doing my job. Okay, and that is, why did I succeed or why did I fail? So I teach every Tuesday night. I have 20 people on the mat 1 week. I teach something, maybe I've done a lot of mat work, because next week I got 5 people. Okay, so that's a message to me as a teacher. What did I do wrong that people did not come back next week? And then it takes me several weeks to build my class. I have to think about that. Did I teach stuff that was beyond the level? You think about it, you drilled them too hard, you pushed them too hard. Okay, but you must self-assess yourself. Okay, as you get experience with this. How did I do in that class? Did I teach it correctly? Did I ignore the white belts? Did I pair everybody off? Because you don't send the 2 white belts down and get them in that by themselves. You pair them up with an experienced instructor, because they're not going to learn anything, correct themselves. You have 2 inexperienced people working with each other. So a lot of stuff in here. I encourage you to read it more. I encourage you to ask questions of the senior instructors that can help you if you have questions. But just, it's not about how to properly do 5 basic hands right now. It's understanding when to teach when and how to teach it. Later we'll talk about how to actually learn the 5 basic hands. Anybody have any questions? That's a really nice section.
Yes, not really a question, but Ms. Rad touched on it earlier. We're a team effort. In the handbook, there's the energy trainer, right? You walk on, you got 5 white belts, and you're down here in your red belt, and your face is raised because you know the class is going to be aimed towards white belt. You pull the whole class down. So if you can still get something out of doing basic drills, you learn something every time you do it. So if you drain the energy out of class, that hurts us all, instructor and the white belts, because they'll feel it. Sorry.
No, thank you very much. You raised a very good point. Because one thing, you see exactly do it all the time, okay? And all the things that he wants people to do together, he'll say go at your own pace, so that then the higher ranks can go at their own pace, and the lower ranks can go at their pace. You get through that and you go on to the next section of curriculum you want to teach, okay? You should be breaking down the curriculum by rank. You should be working on what they're supposed to be working on at their level. So that you, as black belt, should be working on your black belt techniques with whoever is there in that class is appropriate rank with your videos. And lower rank should be working with as many people in their own rank doing different things. So that's one of the harder things about teaching, because now you're teaching several groups at once. You're not just really the whole class doing the same thing. So it's really hard. All right, and it means you've got to really pay attention. You've got to ask your assistant instructor to help you with the junior ranks, with the white belts, and you've got to stay inside of it.
Can I just say
Yes,
one
ma'am, please do.
short thing?
Please do.
I noticed that a lot of black belts and red belts and above start getting to the, oh, I don't need to take class anymore. So, when I was coming up through the ranks, I looked towards the bodons like, and the black belts, actually there were no black belts coming up, right? So it was like the higher belts are really inspiring for the white belts, and when you have to break down that basic elbow again, that just gets your technique better. So, what?
To JP's point about showing classes a lot of white belts, like I see people avoid those classes, and I see this a lot. So next day, and I learned a lot about Hapkido on second degree black belt, something I learned however many years before. So someone brought up the point about being worried about boring people by teaching. There's not boring material. There's boring teachers. So. Has anyone ever been bored in a Science class? So,